Hey guys, good afternoon, and I hope you're all keeping well. In this session on Pytest, I want to discuss the use of something called a fixture, or just Pytest fixtures. So, to show how this is all going to work, let's just take some really simple functions and then some pre-written tests. So, if I look at main.py, we've got the same function which basically takes in the same input. It's taking in a list of numbers here, here, and here, but they're just doing vaguely different things. So this one finds the average, this one finds the biggest, this one finds the smallest. Three really simple functions, and I've made them simple on purpose just to kind of get the point across as to how fixtures work in the simplest possible way. Now then, if I flick over to my tests, we've got Pytest imported. We've then said from main import my three functions, so these ones here. And I've got three pre-written tests. So let's just quickly run our code. And we can see running it, three passed. Yeah, they're all good to go. Now one thing you might notice is that I've got this list of numbers defined here, and defined here. I mean, generally in programming, especially in Python, it's never really great to repeat yourself, if I'm honest. So that's where the job of a fixture comes in. Now, the way I see fixtures is that they're really useful for this situation where we could basically call a load of functions with the same inputs. Rather than defining that input lots of different times, you define it once and then just pass that thing around to the rest of your tests. So we're going to do it in two different ways. We're going to define a fixture here and just use it in these three. I'm also then going to introduce the idea of something called Conftest, which is here. So this conftest.py, if you put this at the same level as your tests, Pytest will pick it up automatically. So let's go ahead and just run it again, obviously. We can see it working here absolutely fine. But let's go ahead and now create a fixture. So Pytest is already done. So all we need to do is do at Pytest.fixture here. So make sure you get fixture correct. And then we want to do a function called, in this case, I'm going to call mine numbers. So if I just do def numbers, just do it like this here. And then I'm going to return this 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay. So for my first case, let's just remove it from the top one. So remove from here. And then what we can then do is pass in numbers here. So let me just show you something a sec. If I just run it without the decorator, okay, so see it goes wrong here in this case, and saying available fixtures found are all of these things here. What happens is when I decorate this with Pytest fixture, numbers becomes available as a fixture. So if I do Pytest fixture, if I just do numbers X for a second, let me just show what I mean. So if I scroll on this, there it is, numbers. So because I've decorated this function with Pytest.fixture, it's now available as numbers. So if I now actually spell this as numbers, yeah, this will work. It's good to go. And there we are. So let's go ahead and do the rest. So we'll pass in numbers here, which means this can go. We'll pass in numbers here, which means, there we go, which means that can go. So you define the fixture once, and then just reuse it in all your tests. So it's a bit neater, saves us a couple of different lines as well. One thing you can do, I suppose, it's a bit of a rarer situation, I suppose, but you can actually do something like this as well. If I do my numbers here, to get this right, and you can then pass in this here, name equals, and let's do some numbers here like this. If you want to be specific and maybe call your function something, and then call the fixture something else, you can. I don't really see a huge amount of benefit, but maybe for more complex tests it could be good. So if I do some numbers for this one here, and then of course change it down here as well. There we go, that works as well. So there's two ways of doing it. You can just call a function something, and then whatever you call your function, pass that in here. Or you can do, some other function name, whatever, and then do name equals X, Y, Z, whatever. And as long as you use this name in here, then you're good to go. Now, let's get a bit fancier. I'm going to take these away and do something in here. So if I come to my contest.py, let's see, make sure we import Pytest here as well. No, not that one, just Pytest. There you go, my VS Code auto-correcting here. Check this out. I run Pytests, and there we go. Pretty cool, right? Let's remove these for a second to show them not like bluffing it at all. So when these are not defined in here, then yeah, my tests fail. But that's all Conftest really does, to be honest. It's a nice way to kind of store, just like how your code might have a config file or something like that, you can basically use a conftest.py in the same location as your tests, and it just keeps all of the kind of utilities, any fixtures you want to use. It's a nice place to put them and just keep the tests clean. So in this case here, all we've got is, let's clean it up a bit, our import of Pytest, importing the free functions from main, my free tests, and that's it, we're good to go. So we run this again, and there we go. So just to recap, here's my code, which is passing in nums to each. My tests, then yeah, just one for each function, and numbers is coming from my Conftest. So the first two, these two here, because I've said input numbers, that's coming from this only because it's been decorated with the pytest.fixture. My last test, which takes in some numbers, that's because I've done a Pytest fixture and said the name is explicitly some numbers. So there you are, guys. That is how to do a basic fixture with the usage of Conftest. Have a great week, guys, and I'll see you all in the next video. Cheers.